Then if you could go ahead and hit record and then place up the agenda for tonight's town meeting.
Okay, Mayor, the meeting is officially recorded and starting at 7:05 p.m. If you bear with me for a second, I'm going to share my screen. And the first thing we have is the town meeting. Oh, wrong one now. Here's the one. The town meeting agenda is, can everybody see the screen?
No.
Okay, so it would help if I hit share. There you go. Are you able to see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call this meeting to order of the Mayor and Board of Commissioners for April 13th, 2021. Can I get the roll call, please?
All right, Judy Melton, our town clerk, is under the weather tonight. She won't be attending, so I'll do the roll call. Commissioner Pearson,
Here.
Commissioner Warnick,
Here.
Commissioner Braun. Let the record reflect that Commissioner Braun is in the office with me off screen, but she's here. Mayor Marion.
Here.
I let the record reflect that all of the elected body is here and in attendance.
Thank you, Town Administrator. In light of a recent loss, I am going to ask for a moment of silence tonight on behalf of the Community Fire Company of Rising Sun. They recently announced the passing of their past president, Harold Cuz Curry. Cuz Curry was a proud member of the Community Fire Company who joined the company in March of 1955, and he devoted 66 years to the company. He was an EMS chief in 1963 and was the company president for almost 4 years. He served on their board of directors, and he was a very active driver and was a top responder for over 30 years. He received the Fireman of the Year award in 1996, and in 2002, Cuz was inducted in the Hartford Cecil Hall of Fame. And on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, we send our deepest condolences to his family and to the members of the Rising Sun Community Fire Company. So could I please have a moment of silence in his honor? Thank you all. Tonight's
Mayor,
general.
Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, can you say something?
Yes.
As a member of the Community Fire Company of Rising Sun, it's been a really tough month. First, losing Wes Cameron and then Cuz Curry. Both of them gave a lot to this community for a long, long time. And I know it's appreciated that the members know that the town really cared. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Pearson. A general overview of tonight's meeting format, Town Administrator, if you would like to cover that.
Yeah, real briefly, what we're going to be doing tonight is we're holding a public hearing. We've already opened up the town meeting, so we would then suspend the town meeting to open up the public hearing on the annexation resolution. Once we run through that process and the elected body decides what they want to do, we would close the public hearing and then reopen the town meeting and then continue with the normal business of the town meeting.
Thank you, Town Administrator. Next on the agenda is a motion to suspend the town meeting.
I make a motion to suspend the town meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I then get a motion to open the public hearing?
Open public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving into public presentations of the public hearing. Town Administrator, do you have the annexation resolution 2020-01A?
Yes, that is what is up on your screen here, the annexation resolution here. I'm just gonna, it's been made available to the public. It has gone through all the proper channels to include advertising of the hearing. I'm going to bring that over. Under the annexation law, we are required to provide a advertisement and newspaper general circulation with basically a summary and detail of what the resolution or what the annexation is about. Because it is less than 25 acres of land that's being annexed, we are required to advertise it 2 successive weeks, with the last advertisement being at least 14 days, I believe it is, before the hearing. You can see here that the Cecil Whig advertised it on March 19th, and then a second advertisement on March 26th, which is more than 15 days between the last advertisement and this hearing. With that, I'll turn it over to the town attorney to pick up the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Calvin. Mayor and Commissioners, good evening tonight. My presentation is to basically set up the public hearing so that you can receive any public comment on the matter. I'm not going to go into great detail about any of the specific parts of it, but I want to kind of overall set the tape so that we can have a record of what we're doing. As you know, this annexation is part of an overall project, which is to allow the extension of public utilities to the Southern States property that is currently has condemned water and is not potable water. They've reached out to us, and we're still working out all the details for their side of it. But part of that is the extension of our services to get there. And part one of that is this annexation, which it sounds, when you think annexation and you think about the acreage that the town administrator talked about, it sounds overwhelming. But what this is a 30-foot stretch of land stretching outside the town limits, the current town limits, that would allow us to put our utilities in. And this does not stretch all the way to the Southern States property. That will be a second annexation at a future date. So this annexation is 30 feet wide. When you take 30 feet times the distance, it comes up with an acreage that you have been told. But in reality, it sits in the roadbed and in the shoulder of the road. So if you drove down the road, you've looked out your right-hand side, that's what you'd see. The public process involves an annexation resolution, which is in front of you. This was introduced. It then goes through a state clearinghouse where everyone has an opportunity to comment. It's then advertised for public hearing, and tonight is the public hearing. After the public hearing, the commissioners can weigh the comments that they've received, both in writing and tonight orally, and then can take action now or take action at a future date. The major points of this to understand is that an annexation under state law, under the local government article, is an action by the town to take land and incorporate it into the town limits. The only people that need to consent to that annexation are the peoples whose land is being annexed. And we have received those consents that those people and that portion of land, which I talked about earlier, will be annexed into the town limits. Everyone else that gets to review this, from the county to the State Department of Planning and so forth, they get to offer comments about what they think it should be. And we received one important comment from the Maryland Department of Planning, which dealt with the zoning of the property. And they suggested that the zoning of the property be designated to a AR zone, which is basically the town's agricultural zone. Right now, it is zoned NAR in the county. And the theory with Maryland Department of Planning in their comment letter was it would be similar enough. All of this seems a little ridiculous when you're talking about a strip that's in the side of the road that's 30 feet wide. Who cares what the zoning would be? But the county does have some important insight into this. And they sent a comment letter to us stating that they're concerned that the zoning changing to AR sets a bad precedent, and they cited other reasons. And they felt that it shouldn't be changed. It should stay to NAR. Well, the local government article of the code, section 4-4-416, basically says that if the county does not agree with the zoning change, or if it's substantially different from what it currently is, then the county has to grant an exception. And they call this the 5-year waiver rule, meaning they have to grant an exception or the town would not be able to change the zoning for 5 years. Be clear, it does not stop the annexation. It just stops the change of the zoning, which means development of that land could not happen. Well, development is not defined as what we're talking about. The development is talking about improvements of the land for houses and things like that. So the resolution that you have in front of you, 2020-01A, has the designation as requested by the Maryland Department of Environment as AR for zoning. And if the county is not agreeable and we can't come to terms with that, then the 5-year rule can be implemented. In fact, the town has to request a waiver of the 5-year rule, so which hasn't been determined whether that will happen either. So that is the issue of the zoning that has recently popped up, and it really is a red herring. I believe that the town and the county are going to be able to work this out in the future, because the important part to keep in mind is that you're trying to solve a public safety problem, a public health problem with the Southern States property. And the town has a policy that it does not extend its utilities outside its town limits. So therefore, you must annex the area in order to extend the utilities in there. And with that, I think that covers the presentation, and the town administrator can open it up for public comment. And as reminded earlier, this isn't going to be a question and answer period because we want to preserve the record. So you'll have 3 minutes to comment and state whatever your concerns are. If you do raise questions, those will be noted by the town administrator, and the town will attempt to get back to you on that at a future date. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Attorney Gullo. Town Administrator, do you have any other comments?
No, I mean, we've seen the packets, just to, you know, again, as the town attorney was saying, here we're talking about, sorry, I'm having a hard time getting it to come over here. We're talking about an easement that is 30 feet wide, that's essentially in some cases running under the macadam of the road, and in other cases running under the hard surface of the shoulder of the road. So it's relatively straightforward. That's all I have to add to it.
All right, so moving forward into the comment portion of the meeting, you will have approximately 3 minutes to make a comment. It is not a question and answer session. It is just a general comment period. So with that said, would anyone like to speak this evening?
What I'd like to do, Mayor, is I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that everyone can see everybody at the meeting. So.
Okay, would anyone like to speak this evening?
Yes, I would like to speak. I'm Elisa Webb, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Cecil Land Trust.
Okay.
We would like to know, or I've seen a copy of the health report showing that this is an imminent threat to public health and safety, and it is an emergency. We haven't seen anything like that, and would like to be able to view that and see exactly where the issues lie, and to know where the community is at risk. The land trust, we hold easements with the property as well as the Department of Natural Resources. And we've not been notified because you'll be going through approximately 3 properties that have easements on them. And it's going through a rural legacy area. We have strict rules that we have to follow for those easements. We also have a document that states that the Albeck Farm has a district agreement with the state of Maryland in the Department of Agriculture. This property is encumbered and would be known if there was a title search done on this. And it was signed on March 6th, 1986, and it was recorded on July 30th, 1986. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And certainly if we can get an email address, I believe our town administrator would be happy to reach out after the meeting. Town administrator?
Yes, if if you want to, in the chat, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Zoom, if you want to put your email in the chat.
All right,
Pull it up.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Would anyone else like to speak this evening?
I'm Bill Kilby. I'm a ratepayer in the town of Rising Sun. My wife and I own a townhouse, and I'm concerned about this project not being fiscally responsible. We are already paying, besides our $497.11 of taxes to the town of Rising Sun, we're paying $384.36 worth of debt service. According to what you've said about this annexation, you're not planning on adding hookups along the way. So therefore, I cannot figure out how this is going to lessen our responsibility for the indebtedness of this particular property. I would much rather see the town of Rising Sun develop there's 300 acres of farmland currently that's been annexed into the town of Rising Sun that's not being developed. So I think it would be incumbent on the town to look at that first before you run a pipeline for miles into preserved land that would have no hookups on. It doesn't seem to be fiscally responsible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kilby, for your comments. Would anyone else like to speak this evening? All right. Calvin, do I need to officially close the comment period?
Give me 1 second. Let me share the screen so we can make sure we're following the agenda. Town attorney, he would officially close the comment period.
Yeah, you take a motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion above the Board of Commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. The next
Yes.
is, yes,
We'd go to number 8. If there's,
okay.
town attorney, am I correct? We would go to number 8, discussion and consideration of the annexation resolution.
If you don't skip to number 8, then you want to have number 7, but you need to preclude anything about the annexation since it's not part of the public hearing. So it's 6 1 half dozen the other.
Okay, so we can have a comment period, and that comment period is just about town business. It's not about the public hearing or the annexation. It is just about.
Correct. That's correct.
Not to be technical, do we have to make a motion to reopen the town meeting?
Yeah,
Yes, you should.
I make a motion to reopen the town meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. So public presentations, do you have that annexation resolution, Town Administrator?
Yes, I do. Give me 1 second to get my screen. Here it is. I guess town attorney, it was read into the minutes before. My recollection is we don't have to read it into the minutes again.
That is correct. It's already in the record.
So you
All right.
have the resolution before you.
All right. Board of Commissioners, can I get a motion to approve the annexation resolution titled while I wait for the town administrator to scroll up. Annexation Resolution 2020-01A, the annexation easement area.
I make a motion to adopt the annexation resolution 2020-01A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion amongst the Board of Commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of the annexation resolution.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Okay, I'll get this back to the agenda. We're on item 13, Mayor. Mayor, if your microphone is muted.
Sorry about that, Town Administrator. It was muted. Business meeting items, we do not have any this evening that I'm aware of. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And excuse me for my out of context comment, but does anyone like to speak this evening regarding any town business? All right, hearing none, moving forward into staff reports. Chief Peterson.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mr. Mayor. During the last 2-week period, during the last first quarter of 2021, we've noticed an increase of young males carrying firearms illegally in vehicles that have been occurring in town. It seems like once a week we're getting firearms off of young men. That's concerning for me. That tells me there's a level of fear in our citizens, not just in Rising Sun, but around the state, around the country. It's something that us as the law enforcement are trying to get a handle on, but I think it goes beyond us, and it may need to go to the level of our state legislature to see that the byproduct of some of their recent decisions has caused some of the citizens to take up arms illegally and carry them. I provided you all with the statistics for the last 2 weeks. There was nothing other than that was alarming. We have 3 events coming up on the same day, and I would like to get some information out about those events. First off, we have the cleanup that's occurring at Dairy Street. While that is happening, we're going to have a 5K run that will be going through town. Okay. It will happen, Jane. There will be no issues. We've worked it out, and many of the participants are going to be put in a position of safety while we still allow motoring traffic throughout town. With that being said, still, if you don't have to come to town, don't come to town. We don't, it wouldn't be necessary if you're just coming to sightsee. But we will get you through to the events safely. And the last event is the Little League opening day, which is at 11 a.m. I'm sorry. If you're going to that event, make your way to the western side of town and enter from Wilson Avenue, the Wilson Avenue end of town. It will make it a whole lot easier, and you will not be bothered too much by all the traffic along Joseph Biggs Highway and Main Street. And that's my report, unless there's some questions.
Hey, Chief, isn't there also a new business opening at the same time?
That is later on the afternoon.
Later in the- okay.
They've set that for afternoon, if I'm correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
You are correct, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Town Administrator, do you have a report this evening?
The only thing that I would add is that we're still looking at the roads to pave. As I keep saying, Valley View is at the top of the list. We just have to go through the formal bidding process. We had to go through the list of all the other roads that may need to be paved. There aren't that many, but there's enough that the cost is significant. So as I've said in the past, we don't, from a good business standpoint, we don't come out of pocket for these paving projects. And just to give it some perspective, when we do some of our paving projects, we're talking maybe 5, 6, 7, sometimes as high as $800,000 of paving. To put that in perspective, we bring in about $980 some odd thousand of real estate tax. So you can imagine there wouldn't be a whole lot of money left over if we would have just be doing the paving as an out of pocket. So we always secure financing. Our rating is very good, so it enables us to secure financing to do these projects and spread it out over a period of time. So we're in the process with that. We should be hearing back from the engineer about bid results soon, but I just want to reemphasize that Valley View is at the top of the list.
Thank you, Town Administrator. Moving forward into the mayor's report, my report will be brief this evening. I did just want to echo the chief for a moment that we have a lot of things going on Saturday. The Board of Commissioners and myself will be attending the Little League Opening Day ceremony. And then we have yet another new business, which will be opening on our main street. Be Free Boutique is a ladies' boutique that will be opening at 12 p.m. We are beyond excited to welcome them to our main street. And they have so many great things in store for our community. I recently did a walkthrough with them this past week, and the building inside is absolutely beautiful. Many of you may be aware, but it is a historic building. The building itself used to house Ashby's, which was a gift shop that also had a soda fountain inside. They have a lot of exciting things in store for the town of Rising Sun. So we're excited to welcome Be Free Boutique to our main street. I also wanted to give a shout out to the Rising Sun High School baseball team. They actually have had 2 games so far, won both of them. And the softball team just won this evening as well, from my understanding. So we're always following the Rising Sun High School sports to keep up to date with how they are. This weekend, I plan to attend the Rising Sun High School lacrosse game, just to show them some extra support. On the COVID-19 front, if you have the opportunity, please consider getting vaccinated. Myself, I had my second vaccine only a couple of weeks ago. And I just want to encourage folks, especially the elderly, to get a vaccine. You never know whose life you may be saving. It could be your neighbors, it could be your grandparents, it could be your parents. Today also marked the 1-year anniversary of myself and our emergency management team delivering PPE to Calvert Manor Healthcare Center. At that time, our community really came together, donating thousands of gloves, masks, and gowns to help the Calvert Manor Healthcare Center when they were in need. We are certainly always in touch with them, and our prayers are definitely with the patients, doctors, and the staff and residents of Calvert Manor Healthcare. So that concludes my report. Moving into commissioners' comments. Commissioner Pearson, do you have anything to comment this evening?
No, you've covered it all with the events on Saturday. I have nothing else. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, Commissioner Braun, do you have anything to add this evening?
No, I have nothing.
All right. Commissioner Warnick.
No, I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Okay. With that said, Town Administrator, you have posted our upcoming town meetings. We have another upcoming town meeting on April 27th, and then we have another one on May 11th as well. Upcoming events, which we spoke about, a lot of things going on Saturday, April 17th. Then on June 5th, the Chamber of Commerce will be hosting Sunfest, as well as the Sunfest Parade. So we are excited to work with them this year to have Sunfest. Anything else to come before the board this evening, commissioners? Hearing nothing, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all so much for joining us this evening, and have a great evening.
Meeting adjourned at 7:35 PM.
No,